Hello, welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A of the CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I am Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox pregame show. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me, it's good to have the three-man crew in studio. We got Vinnie Duber on my far left. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's a CHGO White Sox beat reporter. Do you like beat reporter or writer better?
I always use writer.
Okay.
Just because, I've always been of the opinion, journalist, reporter, that's meant for something more serious than baseball.
Okay.
Right. That's just my personal opinion, but let the people who cover the White House and go to war zones and stuff be called those things.
Herb used Scribe. Do you like Scribe?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
CHGO White Sox Scribe.
Have one of those fedoras on that just says press on it.
Yeah, with a little card in the in the band. That would be nice.
Yeah, let's go out.
Yeah.
23 Skidoo.
Yeah, it would be a literal fountain of sweat on a day like today. But
Yes.
And that's Herb Lawrence. You can
Hello.
follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's the CHGO White Sox community leader. We are previewing the 28-31 Chicago White Sox taking on the 24-36 Detroit Tigers. It's Dylan Cease versus Drew Hutchinson. And before we get into the game preview, we got to talk about some bad things that happened, mainly Liam Hendriks to the injured list. He'll be on there for at least 3 weeks. Vinny, what other info do we know about Liam and the injury?
yeah, it seems to be maybe being communicated in a number of different ways. I think over the weekend we heard that it was a back. A stiff back maybe, and certainly he could be dealing with that too, but it may be just not enough to force him to the IL. What did force him to the IL was a forearm strain, which is something you never want to hear, obviously, when you're a pitcher. That's usually often has been the injury that precedes Tommy John surgery.
Right.
And then I believe Rick Hahn, talking to the Sun-Times, Daryl Van Schouwen in Michigan, called it a flexor strain. So I'm sure all of that is true in some way, but it's just kind of hard to nail down the language. What it does sound like is it'll be a 3-week, at least preliminary 3-week absence for Liam Hendriks, but it looks like they're still looking to try to figure out the exact timeline, which they can't tell right now. It is a retroactive placement to the 12th, which is a couple days ago, but not good. Not good to be without your closer, your all-star closer, one of the best guys, most reliable guys on this team for 3 weeks, which is, the better part of a month, talking about maybe a sixth of the season being without one of your all-stars, and that's never good.
Right. What does that mean to you, Herb, not hearing Hendriks, that all-star, being in that bullpen? And we see the mess that the bullpen kind of is right now. Daryl just tweeted out that Jimmy Lambert could be a possibility for the 9th inning tonight just due to Kendall Graveman's recent usage. So that's the state of the White Sox right now. They pay $13 million for Liam Hendriks. Unfortunately, he gets injured. And now the White Sox, just with how used up this bullpen's been of late, Jimmy Lambert might be closing out games for the Sox.
I mean, I think somebody wrote in my timeline the other day, somebody's got to return the stone. Whoever stole it, put it back, because the White Sox are snake bitten. It is so weird. We probably wished this offseason's man, I'll do anything for White Sox baseball, and that is the monkey paw. Okay, you want White Sox baseball? Cool. Everybody's hurt. It's just so frustrating to have this team, especially when they're starting to ramp up. And Liam was pitching awesomely his last 8-9 appearances, and now he's got the forearm strain. Same thing with Yasmani. Started to hit right, now he's on the IL. Tim, the whole year, has been doing well on the IL. It's just what can be next. Once we think we've hit bottom, the next thing happens. It's just so sad to see that this team can't stay healthy for a whole season. And I'm not blaming anybody on the staff. These are just freak injuries that just happen to teams. And it's happening much more to the White Sox, it's seemingly, to them than other teams out there in the American League and National League.
It sounds like you're blaming Bobby Brady for this, grabbing that idol in the cave in Hawaii.
What a jerk.
Tom Paine says this whole season has been a flexor strain on his fandom, so totally understand that. Funny enough, too, our baseball scribe kind of pontificated the point I was feeling. Yasmani, and kind of the point you were making there, Yasmani Grandal goes to the IL. Joe Kelly comes back. Liam Hendriks goes to the IL. But hey, Tim Anderson's starting his rehab assignment in Charlotte. So how can we kind of put to words the White Sox injury cycle this year so far in 2020?
it sucks. But I mean, I think that would be the main thing for it.
Is that what you wrote
Yeah,
today?
that thing that I was just the piece that I was working on for the last about 40 minutes or so. It's just 2 words. It just says it sucks. But yeah, I mean, it very much seems like. I mean, you painted it as maybe one step backward, one step forward. Mm-hmm. I think you could look at it the other way too: 1 step forward, 1 step back. You finally get somebody back off the IL. You've been waiting for Lance Lynn to be here all season long, and then okay, but we're going to take Liam Hendriks out of the Jenga tower too. Now, I mean, it has been. I basically summarize it as this: for so long, the White Sox, whether it's Rick Hahn or Tony La Russa or even Tim Anderson, have said, just wait until we get healthy. Wait until we get healthy, and then that'll all, things will start to get better. Things will start to roll around. And it was a reasonable reason because the injuries were so serious and such important players. It was a reasonable reason to believe that, hey, that could be true. Get everybody back, and maybe they do look like a different team, the team that they've been supposed to look like this whole time. But every time you think you get a step closer to that, they get further away from it again. So the White Sox, snake bit is a good word for it. Cursed, I'm sure, is one that's going to be thrown around Twitter. But really bad luck for these White Sox on the injury front, and it's making it so, at least partially, they can't climb out of this. Because you look back to last year, the injury luck was terrible last year, right? Mm-hmm. You had 4 of your starting position players on the injured list for months at a time. You figure, how can they do anything? Well, they get the contributions from your Means Mercedes and Brian Goodwin and Jake Lamb and all those guys, and they ran away with the division. They're not getting those kind of contributions this year. And then even when they do, somebody like Jake Berger comes up and steps up, he gets hit in the hand, and he's going to miss the rest of this series.
Ugh. It's just not fun, Herb. And then, even then, the big frustrating part is, they've been leg injuries to Tim Anderson and leg injuries to Eloy Jimenez and leg injuries to Luis Robert last year. But, Liam Hendriks, arm injury. Jake Berger, random, just baseball stuff, swinging at a pitch, and it runs in on him. It is frustrating. The at least good sign out of all of this is Tim Anderson's the one that's returning next. It's if anyone could be returning, it is Tim Anderson. Thank God there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's number 7.
I'm crossing my fingers that he has a clear, good couple days, or I don't know, a day down there in Charlotte, whatever he needs, and come up and help this ball club and stay healthy for the rest of the year. D-Bell 23 says, Cane Man from the playoffs hex the wrong team. I mean, yeah, it has been just so hard to watch. Firstly, the team, because it's been playing poorly, and then once you get up to speed, and as Vinny says, all we need to be is healthy, and it's just we're chasing that forever, in perpetuity. It seems like June was going to be the month when everybody's coming back. Lance was going to come back. Eloy was going to come back. We're going to have everybody be fully healthy. Nope. It just continues to go on and on and on. It's an endless cycle. It hurts.
And what did we kind of find out, too, about some of the guys that have been underperforming so drastically, right? Yasmani Grandal, at least until recently, had not been part of this injury situation. But then we learned that he wasn't fully recovered from that, all the way back from that surgery he had in the offseason. Yoan Moncada missed the first month of the season with his oblique injury, comes back. He's hitting terribly, probably because he's dealing with some stuff. He had the quad issue that knocked him out for a few games. This is a guy who's kind of constantly battling, nagging stuff. I mean, even the injuries that don't, knock somebody out for this huge length of time are still affecting this team on a daily basis, and it really is making it impossible for them to get over the hump, even if they're, doing everything they're supposed to be doing, from working on their hitting, on their pitching, to try and turn this around from a performance standpoint. They've got all these injuries holding them back.
Well, and it just feels like with the actual team and the injuries, it just feels like there's no sync with this team. When the hitting's the pitching isn't that great, or the bullpen has been used up a ton. When the pitching has been great early on in the season, the hitting wasn't there. So, I mean, that's kind of why they are below 500. It's just this team isn't in sync. Maybe they'll find that sync. I still think they have a shot to win the AL Central. You should too, at home. And we got Ross and Josh, talking if we should sacrifice goats here. We could sacrifice some Tigers. We could have Dylan Cease, eat some Tigers tonight. We usually go to the starting lineup first, but I think Dylan Cease is more of the story tonight. White Sox throwing Cease on the bump. It will be Cease versus Drew Hutchison, the starting pitching matchup. Cease in 63 innings this year, a 3.14 ERA, 51 hits allowed, 89 Ks, 35 walks, an ERA plus of 126. This is Drew Hutchison's first start on the year, his first appearance since May 10th. 15 2/3 innings pitched, a 4.60 ERA, 12 hits allowed, 15 Ks, 13 walks, and an ERA plus of 85. Cease, big stopper here. 7 innings would be huge from Dylan Cease tonight. He's had a great career, and we have some numbers a little bit later to go in Cease versus the Tigers. But how important would be 7 innings from Dylan Cease? I mean, even 8 innings. I mean, how important would that be tonight?
Extraordinarily important. I mean, we saw last night what a chore it was for us sitting here to even figure out who was going to be able to pitch out of that bullpen last night. The injury to Hendriks, there's an injury to Aaron Bummer. Obviously, Garrett Crochet has been out all year. Joe Kelly is back today, which is a good thing for Tony La Russa and that White Sox coaching staff to try and figure out who can pitch. But you're without 3 of your 5 late-inning guys. Last night, they were out without 3 of their 5 late-inning guys. They just kind of swapped Kelly for Liam today. But and we saw how difficult it was to put those guys out there in a close game. I mean, throwing Kyle Crick and Bennett Sousa and Tanner Banks. And listen, these guys did a fine job last night. They got the job done. But in a 2-run game, that is not the optimal lineup of pitchers that this White Sox team would like to have at its disposal. That's not going to get any better anytime soon with Hendriks and Bummer and Crochet all still on the injured list. So it's now on them to maybe put this puzzle together on a daily basis, and the fewer pieces they have to fill in, thanks to their starting rotation, the better. Dylan Cease against the Tigers has been basically automatic for the entire time that he's been a Major League Baseball player. It would be very, very helpful for the White Sox if they could kind of reset their bullpen tonight, and then they got the off day coming up on Thursday that can help them do that as well.
Did you hear that, Steven? Dylan Cease has been automatic in his career versus the Tigers. We should probably look at those stats, Herb. 10 games for Dylan Cease versus the Tigers, 56 1/3 innings pitched, a 9-0 record, an ERA of 2.08, a whip of 1.11, and a K to walk ratio of 67-17 in the first start this year. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 8 Ks versus the Tigers for Dylan Cease. What are you expecting tonight?
Should do the same of that. Like, don't change whatever he's done versus the Tigers. Just continue to be Dylan Cease. I mean, there is a need for him to go deep, but, whatever he gives the White Sox, he gives to them. And Vinnie even mentioned it there. Like, we saw last night Kendall Graveman pitch. I am assuming that since he's pitched like 3 of the last 4 games, that he's probably out for tonight, and there's a day game tomorrow. So, yeah, you get Joe Kelly back, but you'll probably lose one of your back end of the bullpen guys. So Dylan Cease going long today is vital for the White Sox success, because I know, and we haven't got to the lineup yet, Drew Hutchison, come on now. We're going to eat.
Yeah.
So Dylan can relax and have his mind go just to the Tiger lineup and not worry about throwing up zeros versus the Tigers, because he knows his offense is going to eat versus the Detroit Lions or Tigers. I was going to say Lions because they have a Hutchinson, too, that they've been talking since the draft. But this is not the guy. He's not Aiden. This is that bum Drew Hutchison that the White Sox are going to eat off of. So Dylan Cease is going to be Dylan Cease. It's going to be the Tiger Tamer, as he always is.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought up Joe Kelly returning. Joe Kelly will be available tonight. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Tony mentioned that Jimmy Lambert will be available for the 9th inning. So it'll be Kelly, Graveman primarily for the time being. Graveman probably not available for tonight for a back-to-back outing tonight. So you're right that Graveman probably unavailable, but Davis Martin available as well, because you mentioned Bennett Sousa doing some mop-up yesterday. He goes down to Charlotte. Davis Martin back up. So interesting with the Sox, too, because Vince Velasquez is supposed to be starting on Wednesday. Davis Martin now up. So a lot of guys that give you length. Jimmy Lambert as well. So a very odd bullpen for the White Sox as well. Raylo as well. But, I mean, he hasn't gone too deep this year. It's mainly been 2 innings and 1 inning outings. So I don't even know if we can count him as true depth. But, I mean, he's done it before. So you're not wrong there, Herb. All right, let's go to the White Sox starting lineup and look at their starting 9. Leading off for the Chicago White Sox, it will be A.J. Pollock playing left field. Batting second, Andrew Vaughn doing the designated hitting. Batting third, Luis Robert playing center field. Batting fourth, Jose Abreu playing first base.
There he is pointing.
Fifth, Yohan Moncada playing third base. Where is he? He's always at 4. Batting sixth, Leury Garcia playing second base. Batting 7th, Adam Engel playing right field. Batting 8th, Reese McGuire doing the catching duties. And batting 9th, Danny Mendick playing shortstop. Let's go look at the Tigers lineup.
That is a heck of a picture of Jose. Mercy.
I don't think it beats him running around third base.
Oh, no,
in Cleveland.
that one I had to save on the desktop. That one's never going away.
It's probably in the team photo, though, of best Jose Abreu photos.
I liked that. Not only that, but that was during the fanless season in 2020, and you could hear the chains in the press box. Hear the chains jangling every time he ran.
And I also love anytime they show off his twisted goatee. Anytime he's rocking, the truly
Albano?
great, the Lou Albano goatee. I always love seeing that.
KPW is asking, did I Photoshop the rest of his fingers out? I actually did. That picture was a high five with Tim Anderson, but I was trying to make it look like he was
Show it
pointing.
again.
He amputated his fingers?
You're really going for the bit here.
Jose,
I really
Jose
was.
is the only.
I thought I played it off too, but KPW caught me.
Jose is
like
the
he's
only guy
giving-
who's not hurt.
Yeah. It looks like he's giving he's shooting himself or giving the finger gun motion to himself. All right. Tigers lineup looks like this. Leading off for the Tigers, Victor Reyes playing right field. Batting second, Harold Castro playing third base. Batting third, Willie Castro playing center field. Made a great catch out in center field yesterday for the Tigers. Batting fourth, Austin Meadows doing the designated hitting. Batting fifth, Javi Baez playing shortstop. Batting sixth, Robbie Grossman playing left field. Batting seventh, Jonathan Scope playing second base. Batting eighth, Cody Clemens playing first base. And batting 9, Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Looking at the Sox and Tigers lineup, what sticks out to you? I think the big thing is the top 4 for the White Sox remains the same. Pollock, Vaughn, Robert, and Abreu.
And the Tigers don't have their Hall of Fame hitter in there, who is their best hitter this year. That's not a great thing. And Miguel Cabrera is hitting about 286. All the rest are really bad. So they're like, okay, let's put somebody else at first base and have Cody Clemens be the first baseman today, just because he got 2 hits and caused that ruckus in the White Sox clubhouse, which also caused some great post-game comments by Lance Lynn. So yeah, that's my big takeaway there. That the Tigers, that lineup, I was scared of it earlier. Now I've seen the batting averages. I see even though they got like 10 hits yesterday, I was not impressed. And Dylan Cease is on the bump, so we're good.
Well, I loved your editor's note, too. Herb sends me all the timestamps from the podcast. Like, this is what happened at this moment. And when we brought up the Lance Lynn, Joe McEwing thing, the comment, he put funny in parentheses.
It was funny.
It was funny. I like that it was a cute note from Herb. And Chirac Bobby asking, Kelly is back. Kelly is back, and after all. So you get to see Joe Kelly back in the White Sox bullpen. And if you're looking for some action tonight, I think that Jose Abreu is going to go off. And the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO to help us continue to grow. Download the PointsBet app, use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all their web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life at PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Jose Abreu to hit a home run tonight is at plus 450. He had 2 yesterday. They traveled a estimated distance of 850 feet. And not only is Dylan Cease very, very good versus the Detroit Tigers, but Jose Abreu is also very, very good versus the Detroit Tigers. In 132 games, he's hitting .347, an an on-base percentage of .405, a slugging percentage of .588, 27 home runs, and 111 RBIs. This just looks like his stat line for a season, no? The batting average a little bit high, but the home runs and the power numbers, as Steve Stone says it, look about the same for Jose Abreu. Big numbers for Abreu.
132 games against the Tigers he's played. They play the teams in their division just too much.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's like a whole
Balanced
season
schedule.
of his career just against one team. Man, and he hasn't, he's Jose Abreu. He had played very much of his pro career, in Cuba before coming to the White Sox. I mean, 132 games is a lot of games.
If he played his full career here, 250 plus, 300 games versus the Tigers alone,
so
be a
many games
guaranteed
against the
Hall of
Tigers.
Famer.
it's too much Detroit baseball.
Yeah, be a guaranteed Hall of Famer versus Detroit. Kind of like Luis Robert is against the Royals. Yeah, that's awesome to just seize that ballpark, seize Detroit pitcher. And the thing is, I don't think Detroit has been overly bad these years that he's been Major League Baseball player. So that's very impressive to do this against the Tigers. So, yeah, awesome. I am looking forward to him hitting some home runs today, even though he's missing 3 fingers because of Steven.
What was his first year was 14, right?
Yeah.
So 90 and 72, the Tigers were their first year. 74 and 87 in 2015.
not bad.
86 and 75. And then 64 and 98,
get
and then I
fed
think
up.
it's going to get real bad. 64 and 98, 47 and 114. When did that happen?
Feeding on them.
Yikes. And
That's
then,
how they got Torkelson.
23, 35, 75, and 85, or 77 and 85. So they just haven't
So they have been bad.
good. Yeah, we saw the lineup. The lineup isn't too impressive. Like you said, Miguel Cabrera has been their best player since 2014, kind of like Jose Abreu has been for the White Sox. But, Jose Abreu has been very good versus the Detroit Tigers. I think he's going to have another good game. We saw the last 25 games, 344 batting average, 6 home runs, like 19 walks. He's been fantastic.
They've all come against the Tigers, right?
Yeah, they've all come against the Tigers. What's the expectation or the feeling that this offense is back? We've talked about the runs scored in the last 5 games. Abreu's been producing. I do like the consistency at the top 4. Can we say, especially only 5 games as the sample size, that the offense might be back?
I don't know if he gets all the way back, but it's good to see and good for them to see that they can hit the ball no matter who's the opponent. As you said yesterday and the previous shows, White Sox have the weakest schedule going forward. So seeing hits against the Texas Rangers, seeing hits against the Detroit Tigers, this is the kind of caliber team you're going to be playing versus. And so, yeah, it's my analogy about basketball. Sometimes you just need to see the ball go through the hoop, and then you're like, okay, cool. I'm confident that I can do this again. And now they always say hitting is contagious. It's both contagious the bad way, like they were earlier, and now contagious the good way, where they're crushing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can call it back after just a few games, but as completely absent as it has been for most of the season, this looks like something that we haven't seen from these White Sox very much at all in 2022. And so to see it a bunch of days in a row, you've never had a better opportunity to say it's back, and so it might as well be.
And Tim Anderson's coming back. So, I mean, if they're doing this well without him, what will they do with him? He was their best hitter so far this year. And you mentioned TA, having 1 game down in Charlotte, and then maybe he gets called up real quick. He's going to be at the DH position tonight in Charlotte. Then he's going to play shortstop. Word is next homestand, which would be the Toronto game, which, hey, if you're listening to the CHGO White Sox podcast, I think about 2 weeks, Vinnie Duber told you that. So there you go. Or at least mentioned that could be the earliest time that Tim could return. And funny enough, we have the official CHGO tailgate happening on June 22nd. So if you want to possibly see a returning Tim Anderson to Guaranteed Rate Field, you can get a game ticket and access to our tailgate in Lot B starting at 11:30 a.m. You can go to allchgo.com. We got an Eventbrite page up there, URL, where you can buy tickets. You'll get access to hang out with us from like 11:30 until like 1:15 until we head into the ballpark. I guess it would be like 1:10 heading to the ballpark, and we'll sit in the 108, 109, 110-ish region. I think we're out in the outfield-ish, but it's going to be a fun time. So head out to eventbrite.com or allchgo.com, click on the Eventbrite page, and buy tickets to the official CHGO White Sox tailgate on June 22nd.
And I see KPW in the comments. Hey, man, it's an 8-hour drive. Make your way to Chicago.
We'll cover you the $25
and then go back to Canada the same day.
Have fun crossing the border and driving 8 hours with gas prices. But
We'll allow you here.
We will allow KPW in. We might not let him out, though. He's such a – we just love KPW's presence. Matthew Cortese saying Sox win 5-0. Dylan Cease throws a no-hitter.
Stop it.
My favorite question or interaction so far today has been asking Vinny who his pick to click was going to be, and he's like, well, since I can't pick a pitcher, so it would obviously be Dylan Cease if we could pick Dylan Cease. But
who says I wasn't going to go with Jimmy Lambert to get a big save?
His first career save. Who are you going with tonight?
To win this game?
Oh, no. To win the game in your pick to click.
Oh, we're segueing into the click to pick segment.
I could have made it a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit off the wall here and go with Danny Mendick.
They call him the second leadoff hitter.
He's been pretty good in that 9 spot.
Yes.
So, I'll go with Danny Mendick. I think he's been doing some good stuff lately. And listen, you make fun of the second leadoff hitter thing, but he can get on base. Mm-hmm. A couple other guys can get on base. Jose Abreu has been doing big things from that RBI spot. no reason that Danny Mendick can't be one of those guys that he drives in. So that's what I'll go with today.
I mean, he had 2 hits yesterday. He didn't look good at certain times of at bats yesterday, but I'm going Luis Robert. Yes, there's a slider. Drew Hutchinson has a slider, and he throws it like 40% of the time this year. But I don't think his slider is good enough or filthy enough to fool Luis Robert. And I believe Luis Robert is a better player than he's shown. So better time. There's no better time than now to become the guy that you're going to become and stop being the flailing guy of the sliders way outside of the zone. I'm going with Luis Robert.
Well, good news for you. Luis Robert does see Drew Hutchinson well. In 3 plate appearances, he's 2 for 2 with a walk.
That works.
So
A walk. Whoa.
He's gotten on base all 3 times
Nice.
versus Drew Hutchinson. So maybe this is the way Robert turns it around. I'm going to go with Jose Abreu. He's been really damn good. It's been tough to just go away from him. I had first pick, so I'll go with him. His career numbers aren't great against Hutchinson. 3 for 11 on the career, 2 strikeouts, no walks, 273 batting average, 273 on base, 364 slugging. But he's faced him once this year, and his exit velocity was 101. So maybe if he sees him a couple times, he could tag him up and take Hutchinson deep. I'm going to go with a White Sox victory. I'd be pretty shocked if they didn't win this with Dylan Cease on the mound. I will go White Sox 6, Tigers 1.
I'm going for the shutout. White Sox going to score 6-0.
I didn't have the guts.
And not the no-hitter. Matthew Cortez is going all the way out with
No-hitter.
5-0 and a no-hitter. Hey, it takes balls.
And it'll probably take like 130 pitches because Dylan walks a decent amount of guys.
Don't want it. No, sir.
I'll go ahead and go 4-2. White Sox win.
All right, 4-2.
Yeah.
We got 6-0. We got 6-1. We'll see what happens. T-Bell going pick to click. Joe McEwing. He's not the ribeye guy, right? He's the
fillet guy.
He's the fillet guy. So we're going Joe Filet McEwing, pick to click from D-Bell.
And Caesar salad.
Virtual stealth likes Luis Robert to steal a base or score a run. Josh Fiore, pick to click his ribeyes and potatoes. And Josh Fiore is also going Vaughn for his pick to click. And Alex said Daryl's Boston's beard, pick to click. So Alex and D-Bell on the first base and third.
Now it's just got like a goatee. Yeah.
Everybody on that White Sox team was clean shaven last
weird.
night.
Yeah, he had a nice Lovie Smith-esque white beard that played perfectly with his skin early in the year. I don't know who told him to shave that, but that's beautiful. He should get that back.
Yeah, and I as long as Dylan keeps the mustache, I think we're okay on facial hair. But like you mentioned, Daryl had a nice one going. I don't know why he changed it. It's kind of like Lawrence's, our producer's, hair. I have no idea why he cut that. Looked real good long. No idea wwhy Sebi cut his. We noticed Adam Engel did some trimming as well. Dylan's got the real stuff, though, so we'll see how he performs today against the Tigers. 9-0 on his career against the Tigers. 2.08 ERA. We'll see how he does. White Sox and Tigers starting in about 10 minutes. We appreciate you guys joining the CHGO White Sox pregame show. For Vinnie Duber, you can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's the CHGO White Sox scribe. You can follow Herb Lawrence on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's the CHGO White Sox community leader. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show account at CHGO_White Sox. We'll be tweeting out some live in-game updates throughout the game. We will join you after the final out is made. We'll be live here from Studio A, very, very hot Studio A. We will be here after that final out is made. Hopefully the White Sox get a win. We'll talk to you after the game. Go Sox.